It's been about 6 months since the loot box issue popped up in the gaming scene. Last we checked, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Middle-earth Shadow of War were facing heavy criticism for their loot box implementation, and this had got the attention of lawmakers around the world. So, what's the current fate of loot crates? Let's navigate the state of play and separate the sinners and saints in this, the Loot Crate Update. Brought to you by Colgate. Now with added nitrates, so now you can better masticate grapes with a date or 8 mates. Let's start with Star Wars Battlefront 2, the poster child of this entire situation. Remember when the day before launch, developers DICE suspended the in-game microtransactions? Well, if you don't, they did that. Anyway, in March, DICE announced that it was revamping the game's progression, which would remove gameplay-altering items from loot crates, replacing them with cosmetic items and in-game credits to purchase them. It's basically what people were asking for leading up to launch, the removal of the pay-to-win and the ability to play as a hot pink stormtrooper. Having said that, it feels a little too late for this game. Sure, it sold 9 million copies, but I reckon at least half of these are currently sitting in pre-owned bins at your local game retailer. And generally, people aren't talking about this game, this ostensibly ongoing game, outside of lootbox memes on Reddit and satirical news monologues on community television and youtube.com/newgameplusTV. Like, comment, and subscribe. The other lootbox culprit, Middle-earth Shadow of War, has gone one step further and removed microtransactions altogether. In a candid post, developer Monolith admitted that the ability to purchase in-game orcs, quote, risked undermining the heart of our game, the Nemesis system, and that it compromises those same stories even if you don't buy anything. Fair play to Monolith. They were open about the problem and the incoming solution. Now all we need is a similar apology from Peter Jackson for stretching The Hobbit into 3 movies. It seems these games made changes at the right time because lawmakers around the world are starting to step in. Which brings us to Belgium, home of waffles, and many Belgians keen to remind us that Belgium is more than just waffles. They really waffle on about that point. Belgium was one of the earliest countries to publicly announce a review into the potential link between loot boxes and gambling. And in April, the nation's Gaming Commission identified 3 games that fell under its gambling laws: Overwatch, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and FIFA 18. Now, I for one am shocked to hear soccer associated with illicit gambling. This has never, ever happened in the history of the sport. Ever. The loot boxes in these titles were determined to be, under gambling law, games of chance that drew players in with an emotional profit forecast, which, by the way, is a really good name for a corporate punk band. The Commission was also concerned that these games appeared to target minors. Now, these 3 games must either remove or alter their loot boxes, otherwise they may be dealt with under Belgian criminal law. This could mean 5 years imprisonment and a fine of 800,000 euros. That kind of money could buy you so many waffles. So expect a very exciting E3 press conference from EA, where it will announce it will replace FIFA Ultimate Team with a brand new and exciting mode, FIFA Battle Royale. 100 soccer players are placed onto a pitch. The last one to take an intentional dive wins. Average game length, 12 seconds. Over in America, Hawaii is writing a bill to regulate loot boxes, and lawmakers in Washington state are also looking into whether loot boxes fall under its gaming laws. The gaming industry does not want the government to step in, and so the industry-run Entertainment Software Ratings Board, or the ESRB, has intervened by slapping labels onto games that have in-game purchases, including loot boxes. In 2018, that is literally every video game. It's as effective as labeling a packet of cigarettes with the words "warning contains cigarettes," or every Drake album with "warning contains sadness." Mind you, the ESRB still holds the view that loot boxes do not constitute gambling. In a letter to a US senator, the ESRB believed that loot boxes were analogous to baseball cards and that they, quote, provide a player a fun way to acquire virtual items for use within the game. Loot boxes are fun, aren't they? I mean, just look at Kriparian as he is opening up 1,000 Hearthstone packs. Now, isn't he having the time of his life? And that will do it for this edition of the Loot Crate Update. Tune in next time as the industry negotiates with reps of states to abate a mandate to regulate the loot crates. Save the date. And that is everything that has happened in the world, ever.